Haunted Hearing Aid. Recorded live by Luigi C. Russo, Chief Poet Officer of PoetLuigi.com. He will also comment on various entertainments recently consumed. And now, let us hear. Youthful breezes hail the workforce the country sent, not of detergent, but of America's homeland. In this great country lies an unfathomable, forgotten feeling of what rural is and will always continue to be. A going back to the way it always was. Land, freedom, neighborly values, and money not displaying. A barter, a simplicity. Freedom lies in the pictures of the minds driving to the city, to work, to dream, to fuck, to die. We die a little bit, but the country revives, restores, rebreathes, innocence of the universe's previous ladder. Onward the scent moves, the flowers mix, the leaves mix, the grass mix, the dung mix, the gas mixed, sense of the universe unleashed. As drivers pass through the downtown area of M, those in tune with the world's cosmos, order, values, dreams, hopes, past lives will instinctively look to the way where death lies, where unholy lies, where unseen lies, where unknown lives. Something draws attention to the swampy dankness of stench and unbeauty. Go past, and if one is not close to the universe's secrets, will forever be tainted with a pint of rotten blood, which will constantly seep through their veins, darkening their soul for seconds each day until it is all over. But is anything ever truly over? Obviously, the sun is but a morning sun, lost and confused at the moment due to a force threatening the natural order, or is it the natural order? Does our minds conjure up these unholies of unwantings? Or are the unholies wanted to maintain an innocence of a loss of a something? Brilliant sun is only as brilliant as the soul allows it to be. A very few has flowing love and blood. The world is smoother, spins a little lighter. Not now, not evermore, so the darkness resurfaces, rain shall flow to rise the dirty waters, to cleanse the dirty soul bloods, cleanse the rust from within, clogging the freedom of life, the life that was meant, the life that was not, given a chance to fully live, to fully move forth, to love, to raise, to dream. What is forming from the ruins of a country so small, so minimal, so mispronounced, so unknown? Country sun trying to hide, but the blue is a blue shine, transfixion, a blue-eyed boy in the pastures wearing blue pants, blue shirt, straw hat. He senses something and walks in his bare feet to his pa. His pa looks up, shakes his head, and chops the head of a chicken. Chicken flops, runs, shakes, sputters as blood is absorbed into the earth, being sucked into the webs of an underground, invisible stream, sucking powers blood into a being of this universe, but told not to be, yet continues a quest of abomination, because now is the rising time of creation. Wind blows a mellow drift, shaven off the tender growth of dandelions, drift nicely to an obedient adventure. Take a journey on this wind through the countryside. Start as the dandelion seed, sailing through the trees, up, higher, falling, drifting, floating, landing on feather. Where, now landing down upon the glories of yellow flowers. A hair and goldens the desires of blood feuds, blood stories. The lust for blood is not the physical or the life force, and soul can be the soul. To want of power, a hunger driven to a realization that such things as dandelion seeds cannot become the real fruition of nature unless the balance is restored, and most oftentimes the restoration comes in the form of a catastrophe. Here the farming from the waters is the awakening. I ask you of this, are you prepared? No one will be prepared for the slow rising shape. Forehead of the forefatherly past, large, smooth, sensual, but engulfed with grayish skin, revitalizing in the waters to turn a slight pale into magnificent peach hair to forehead, and sirens are heard in the distance. Troubled are the times of a gruesome, unbeknownst moments arising. Be thee warned. Scene leaves the swampy area to focus on the White House. Petite, slim, still drunk, she staggers out of bed to receive her morning hell. The moments when life begins upon waking and lifting the sheets to let the cold morning in. Today, rather, this morning is run day, also a meeting day. She peers into the mirror, looks at herself, and remembers his touch. How it was so natural, but for him to be gone, it felt so unnatural. It just was not supposed to be. She, the woman of tiny brown fingers pressed on dresser, lustful, brownish, pinkish lips unsmiling, brown, round, bloodshot eyes, smooth forehead, brown, healthy skin, tiny, cute baby button nose of youth, stares, misses, cries, 3 tears, inhales the crisp morning, shakes her head, turns from the mirror, puts on her great red robe, uses the bathroom, finds her warm slippers, journeys down, worn down stairs of her youth. We were supposed to be forever in this house. I saw it. Something just not right. Again she shakes her head to let the words out, fall out, float away, hit the ground, then crumble into dust. Dust to dust, words become rust, no longer lust. For as we know we must, remain and die at all costs. That concludes today's reading of Haunted Hearing Aid. Evil is here. Now on to Hearing Aid on, Hearing Aid off. I know it's been a while. I watched the 2010 World Cup game, Italy versus Slovakia. Italy loses 3-2. It was one of those games where, Italy wasn't playing all that great, and then had to play hard at the end, but it was like 3-1, and then Italy popped in a goal. Wasn't that great of a game. Pretty much had no offense, had no defense, pretty much because Buffon was not playing. The goalie was not that great, so that game gets a hearing aid off. Fleetwood Mac, greatest hits. I only really think of Stevie Nicks. Just the songs didn't just hit home. They did not hit home, so they get a hearing aid off. Movie Night Shift. Pretty boring. Michael Keaton was in there. He's good and goofy. The Fonz was the main character. He couldn't lead the movie, so it's boring. Hearing it off. Eagles, the complete greatest hits 2 CD. That was a good set of complete hits. And hearing it on. Fleetwood Mac, the very best of Fleetwood Mac. There were way too many songs. Just lost a lot of, time, my sense of wanting to listen to it. My hearing aid was not impressed. Hearing aid off. On documentary Becoming Led Zeppelin. It's a great story and sound. I grew up with Led Zeppelin. My older brothers listening to Led Zeppelin, trying to brainwash me in the Led Zeppelin. Constantly on. I used to the sound, but it was good to hear how they became Led Zeppelin. And, how they just had to come to America to get big. And so that gets a hearing aid on. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Trilogy. It was a 2 CD set. It was too avant-garde. It was just too experimental. And it was one of those I don't know, nature sound type of CDs. It's just sometimes lots of instrumentals and boring. So they get a hearing aid off. What's this? Foster the people. A paradise state of mind. I did not hate it. I don't even remember what it sounded like. I know it did not annoy my hearing aid. So they get a hearing aid on. Foreigner, turning back the time. My aide approved that one. And to be honest, I didn't realize they had that many hits. So they get a hearing aid on. The Burrows, the 8 episodes on Netflix. It was, didn't like the ending, but, it was fun. Watched it with the wife. It was just fun, adventurous, these people getting around and, poor mother. But yeah, I like the characters, sense of characters, how they were all like together on an adventure, and like an old version of the Goonies, and obviously old version of Stranger Things. So, it was entertaining. That's what it comes down to. And, a reminder of death. We just gotta die. The circle of life continues. And hearing aid on. That is all for today's podcast. So, you have a smoking good night.